there, it's Shannon Math Chick Myers, and we had a question asked about this problem here. We've got a chute at the top of a grain elevator of a combine that funnels the grain into a bin. We're going to find the angle between two adjacent sides. What's going to happen is the Z will go up to 8, and what we're going to do here is we're going to line up bottom edges and center them. So you basically are going to have these vectors here, and then we'll have our grid, I don't know, be this green, I guess. So here is an edge, the bottom edge of each if you think of the bottom of this guy, I'm basically looking at this and at this. Okay. Now, if you look at that axis, this goes up at an angle, right? So we need to figure out, these vectors are easy, aren't they? I mean, you've got, we can do them in different colors. So you have the blue one, right, is going to be, I don't know, call it U, equals, that lies on our Y axis. This is X, this is Y, and this guy is Z. And so that blue vector would be zero, 6, 0. And then the green vector would be, call it B, and that would be 6, 0, 0. And the axis goes straight up here. And so there's kind of the tricky part, right? This is what we used as our axis. So the kind of tricky part here is we're going to make that assumption that the bottom of the cylinder is centered underneath the bottom, square, top square, bottom square centered under top square. And so that would make this guy, it goes off at an angle. Whoops, that's no good. Which goes off at an angle like this, somewhat. That's going to actually be W equals, you went 1 behind for the X, so -1, because you'd have an inch on each side around the bottom, because you have 8 inches around the top and 6 inches around the bottom. So -1 offset on the X, -1 offset on that Y, and then you've got a height of 8, right? And so we end up having this plane here, from these vectors. So that's going to look something like this. And of course, my scale, I'm sure, is off. And then we'll be finding this angle between these two planes right here. Okay? Using these vectors. Cool, cool? All right, so let's work it out. We've got these vectors. We need to find, we're going to, we'll use these points or vectors, and we've got, let's call N1 is going to end up being equal to, sorry with the noise, ijk, and then I'm going to use 600 and -1, -1, and 8. And if we expand about this one, we'll have a minus, a plus, and a minus. So this is just going to be equal to -6 times the determinant jk -1 and +8, which will be -6 times 8j minus a minus k will be positive k, which if we multiply will be -48j minus 6k. All right, so that gives us the plane that's made up by, so that basically gives us this plane right here. And then finding the other plane on the adjacent sides, because remember we have 0, 0, 0 as well. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. There's all this yard work. I am so sorry, or whatever they're doing. Okay, working from home. Gotta love it. N2 will be equal to, we have our ijk. We've got this one here is what we're doing. And so we'll use 0, 6, 0, and again, -1, -1, 8. And expanding across that center one, again, plus, that'll be minus, plus, minus, sorry. Minus, plus, minus. We're going to end up getting N2 is equal to a +6 times the determinant I, -1 on that first column, and K, 8 on that second column. And so our N2 equals 6 times 8i minus k, which will give us 48i minus 6k. Cool so far? Now we're going to get, and so putting these in, putting these in component form just to make it easy, this is going to end up being 48, 0, -6. The other one, let's see, we called it N1. And so N1 will be in component form 0, -48, and -6. And so now we're going to use the formula for the angle in between. So that formula will be cosine theta, we'll use, is equal to N1 dot N2 over the magnitude of N1 times the magnitude of N2. And so cosine theta will be, so dot product, we've got, for that first one we had, what, 0, negative 48, negative 6, dot 48, 0, and negative 6. Over, let's see, magnitude of that first one will be, let's make it easy for ourselves. Let's just find out what is 48 squared plus 6 squared. That's 2340. So that'll be root 2340 times root 2340, because the negatives square away. So cosine theta is just going to be 0 times 48 is 0. Negative 48 times 0 is 0. So we'll have 36 over 2340. And working on that with the calculator, let's find that inverse cosine. Of 36 divided by 2340. Which is 1.55 in radians, but if you multiply that by 180 divided by pi, you get it approximately 89.1 degrees. So let me do a little work here. We basically evaluated the inverse cosine of both sides. And then we got a result of theta is approximately 89.1 degrees after we switched it from radians to degrees. Cool, cool? All right, so hopefully, so the angle between, there go the dots, awesome. The adjacent sides is approximately the chute is approximately 89.1 degrees. I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you're watching this show. And hey, if you like what I'm doing, go ahead and subscribe and hit that like button. Bye.